Good evening.
Good evening.
At this time, I'd like to call to order the meeting of Mayor and Council on Tuesday, April 14th, 2026, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At this time, if you would rise for the invocation from Councilman Alan Quinlan.
Heavenly Father, we come before you with gratitude for the opportunity to serve our community. We ask for your wisdom as we deliberate, your clarity as we discuss, and your guidance as we make decisions that affect lives of many. Help us seek what is just, what is fair, and what promotes the well-being of all residents in our city. Bless this meeting, those present here, and the community that are entrusted to serve. Amen.
Amen. If you would remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Just as a reminder for council, there will be an executive session following our regular scheduled city council meeting. Are there any changes to the agenda for tonight's meeting?
No, sir, there are not.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to ask for approval of the minutes for the regular scheduled meeting on Tuesday, March 24th. Those minutes have been provided to the council in their packet. If there are no questions or comments on the minutes, I'll set the motion.
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilman Mike Bradley. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I second that motion.
I have a second from Councilman Holland. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, those pass unanimously. Is there anyone here this evening for public comment?
Miss Wendy Gunkin is here for public comment.
Ms. Gutkin, come on forward.
Hi, good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here tonight on behalf of Merit, Minority Engineering Regional Incentive Training. It has a rich history in Seaford, as you know, as you've honored in our 50 years celebration that we had recently. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody in Sussex County, maybe even in the state of Delaware, who doesn't know the name of John Hollis. John's health has been failing in the last few years, and I am now Director of Merit going forward. We have about 26 kids registered. We would really like to be at our quota of 40. So if you know of anyone who might be gifted in that area, we've tried to get into the Seaford School District. I have appointments to go to Laurel and Cape very soon. So we just want to be sure that that heritage stays. Trish knows I've met with Trish and I met with Charles a little bit about a sign project. When in 2024, Governor John Carney awarded John Hollis with the, I guess the top civilian honor that a citizen can get, which is the Order of the First State. And with that, there was some funds that were awarded to Merit. There were some funds that are awarded to have a sign somewhere placed in the Seaford area. Through different, I don't know how to say this, but I just want to say communications fell apart, I think, in different areas. And so the original plan was to have that placed at the Boys and Girls Club in Seaford. So getting down to the deadline when I took over as director in December, we were almost to a use it or lose it stage. And so I approached the COO of the Boys and Girls Club at Delaware, John Tucker, and asked him if he was interested in ironing out whatever felt wrong 2 years ago, and let's proceed with this. So within 48 hours, he agreed to everything I was asking, and the project has moved forward very quickly since then. And I appreciate the city working with us on permits. The electric department has been wonderful. We required to have some new feed, I guess, to run from the poles over near the police station over to the area, to service area where the sign is going. And it will be in the same location, maybe just a couple of feet off from the current sign. The reason I'm here today is I would like to invite all of you to a dedication ceremony It will be, I think, probably a very small ceremony. I'm not sure if John's health will allow him to even be there, but this is to honor him. It's to honor all the kids in Sussex County. There's a dedication plaque that will be to John and to those who have served merit over the years as well. And that's going to be on May 2nd at 3 p.m. at the Boys and Girls Club. We'll meet just a little bit prior, probably in the club, and then come out to the sign area and have the dedication there. I believe Governor Carney is coming down. He's now mayor of Wilmington, but he and John have had a very good relationship over the years, and his staff has told me that he is planning to be there. And if anyone would like to, maybe if you would like to say a few words or anything,
Sure.
if you can make it, that would be wonderful. So May 2nd, 3 p.m. Any questions?
I have one.
Yes.
Regarding merit, if there is somebody out there, a young person who's interested in merit or would like to speak to you about possibly joining, how can they get in contact with you or the merit organization?
Well, they can call me. I'm working on putting up a Facebook page. We've never had one before.
Okay.
I just need to get clearance from all of the children's parents that, we can post about things. I'm not sure whether to do a private group or public group. I'm not sure. I'm kind of feeling that out. So if anybody has any recommendations on that.
Well, it's a wonderful organization. I've had the pleasure of being out there with you, John, and a myriad of different events. So anybody who's out there who might be interested, I also make sure that we do our due diligence to get them in contact with you and whoever else is serving.
Yeah, and I will have information. The schools do have information, so
Okay.
if they can see their principal. The way merit was designed was that the children would be nominated.
Yep.
Students would be nominated either by a STEM teacher, a science teacher, mathematics, or language arts. We concentrate all of that pretty much in the fall, and then in the summertime, or in the springtime, we start an engineering competition, which we're right in the middle of right now. We meet this Saturday, and this will be our third planning session, and then our final is actually the morning of May 2nd. And so if anybody's ever interested in finding out more about what we do or seeing how that competition works, that's going to be at Crossroad Community Church at 9 a.m. We do award scholarships. We do a first, second, and third prize. This year's competition is a Mars rover transport bridge that children had to design that would go on the Mars rover, so that if there were a ravine or a cavern or a crater, they would be able to deploy this system, transport over it, and retract it again on the other side. So we do challenge them. Is that
Thank you.
any other questions, or? Yes.
Vice Mayor.
I was just going to say, I would really encourage you to make sure that you contact the schools. Having been a middle and high school principal in the area and never getting any information about merit, I make sure that the principals actually have that information in order to be able to do that.
They do have it.
Well, I was going to say,
Yeah.
I can tell you I never got it
Yeah,
in
that-
both my roles.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy,
just
yeah, okay.
letting you know.
Well, I will be,
Yes.
one thing, Mike's known me for how many years? I am perseverant. I will make sure, thank you.
Very persistent. So
Yes.
I was fortunate enough to be a judge on a panel for projects, and it was well worth the time and investment
Yes.
to witness these young adults working together.
Yes.
But do you have a guideline for the teachers for nominations? Are there any? Is there a
We
rubric?
do, there's a packet that's given to each of the schools, and that has the nomination forms, our application form. Everything that they need is there. There's information for the parents, information for the schools.
Okay. I just, make a direct appeal to a teacher rather than have it filter down that might be more successful if we were armed with information to go
Okay.
to a teacher.
Am I
I'm not
allowed to
saying a
just
whole
go,
pack-
no, but am I allowed to just go into the school? that way? I thought I had to go through the principal.
Well,
I mean, you can't go in and just go
I'm
find a
talking
teacher.
about
Right, no,
Yeah.
I
in
understand
a
that.
social situation, not directly on the campus, but in a social situation.
I see, okay,
But find out who the science department chair is.
right,
And go through them.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for coming by. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Take care.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else here for public comment?
There is no one else here for public
All
comment.
right. Do we have any correspondence?
We do not, sir.
All right. At this time, we're moving on to new business number 1, and I believe we have the president of the Downtown Seaford Association, Alice Atkins, to give us a presentation. And Lauren.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Matt McCoy and council members. As you all know, I'm Alice Atkins, the president of the Downtown Seaford Association, and we would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight discussing the event. I'm here to present a proposal for a community-wide celebration in Seaford in honor of the 250th anniversary of the United States. This is a once-in-a-generation milestone, and the DSA sees it as a great opportunity to bring our community together while also highlighting our downtown and waterfront too. We've prepared a short slideshow that outlines a vision for the event, including logistics, activities, and overall community impact. Go ahead.
Okay, so our proposed slogan for the event, we came up with Stars and Stripes on the Nanacoke. And this is also hopefully going to be our graphic on t-shirts that we sell to support the DSA. Hopefully we sell a lot of them because it probably will be a really long time before we have something like this again. So the proposed date is July 18th this summer. The tentative date, the last time we checked, would be around 10 a.m. for the float-in, but obviously we'll check closer with NOAA to get that time set. The festival and activities will start around 5 and end at 9, and we're hoping to have live music there as well, if approved.
And of course, as you see, I mean, it's not the actual site, as you can see, there's woods in the background, but that's what we came up for a slide. But we will be doing this at the lot next to City Hall, behind here, where they do Friday Night Live. So that's where we're presenting to do that for that. And let's see. We would like to get permission to use the grass lot behind the City Hall. We have reached out to the possible band that will be performing to see what amps they would need for the equipment and the lighting. If there is a need for additional amps, we can get in contact with Greg about installing a panel. But I think with all the different bands that we've had so far at the Friday Night Live, and some of them have had the Cool Tones, I think they had lighting, and the Spanish band, I think, had lighting there too. So I did talk to Mike Hines about it. That's who we're proposing to maybe have come here, because he's a really, really great entertainer. He said that he probably wouldn't need, we probably wouldn't need extra amps for all the different events he's done outside. But that will come to close when I figure it out, when I get Greg to check that out for us. He's going to check on that with his lighting people. And next slide. Okay, we'll be asking for your consideration and helping support 2 key costs associated with making this event successful. It's $3,500 for a live band and $1,000 for a stage setup and production. Any assistance the city can give and provide will go a long way in helping us deliver a high-quality event for the community.
And I feel like it's more like equitable for everyone, because we want to have like kid activities, but we also want to cater to, people who might not have kids and just want to come out and, just relax and enjoy themselves as well.
All right, next slide.
So in addition to the float-in that we will be talking about in just a second, the event would include live music, craft vendors, children activities, food trucks, ice cream vendors, but the whole goal is to create a welcoming, family-oriented atmosphere, which encourages people to spend time in our downtown area that supports our local businesses, that's all what we're all about. And it's not just a celebration, but it brings an opportunity for more visitors to come to the area to see what we have to offer and to see our community pride. So at the conclusion of our presentation, we are respectfully asking for your approval to move forward with the event.
And at the actual event as well, we're trying to merge in with Seaford tomorrow with Katie. Katie is willing, she wants to help us out, and so they can reap the profits from that at the event as well. But with her gonna be going for a little while and stuff like that, they have to coordinate it and make sure they have enough people, because they're gonna have their Friday Night Live the night before, and then it's gonna be right after.
So back to back. So.
Yeah, so I did talk to her about moving things around.
Collaborating.
Yes, we collaborated that. If we get the stage, they'll be able to use that night. That way it's already there on Saturday. And next slide. Okay, we'll be picking a time, as we had said, moving closer that aligns with the NOAA high tide chart. There will be a bus to shuttle people, and just as we did at Riverfest, I think it came through Water Street and came up North Street and parked right there at the residence, and I will make sure I get approval from David and get in for insurance purposes on that, to moving forward with that, once we get moving forward. We have been being very proactive already. As you know me, I'm already looking ahead and asking people. So I've already talked with Title Health Campus. I talked to Kelly Novak there, and I talked to somebody that said we can use the parking lot, because that's where a lot of people, when the Riverfest was here, they park there and they get on the bus. So I did already get, they're really happy about giving us approval for that. I did talk with First Aid Oral, and I already talked with Title Loans as well, and got their permission to use their facility and have people like in lines and parking there and getting their wraps out or whatever.
Great.
So we have already done that.
And
And
then
of course, you know, the exit, what's that?
the exit, where they'll exit from the float-in.
Oh, yeah. So like she said, when they float in, the participants will exit the river at the canoe ramps there. Same thing with Riverfest. So that, again, we'll make sure that we have the residents at River Place approval for that as well, for that. And we will also make sure that, you know, we get DENREC to come out and test the water beforehand to make sure that bacterial levels are not too high so the floaters can't go in the water. So next slide is another slide? Nope, that's it.
No, it is. So one more about the float-in. Seaford Volunteer Fire Department will be collaborating with the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department. My mom has already spoke with them. They are willing to help us out with dive teams and their boats. So Seaford will be providing the boats, and Laurel will be providing the dive teams, and also probably boats as well. Therefore, they're all going to be working together, collaborating to make sure this is safe and successful, much like Riverfest, and all of that has been discussed and approved already with them, so that is set in stone as long as we get you guys approval. So I think that's the last slide. Can you go to the next one?
That just shows, does that just show our emblem and the, it doesn't know.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yep. So thank you guys so much for your time, and we hope to work together to get that done. It is.
Yeah, so thank you again, like we said. We're happy to answer any questions at this time. I'm sure you guys have some questions for us.
Sure they do. I see Councilman Quillen.
Oh, Dan has.
Oh, Dan, excuse me, Vice Mayor.
It's ambitious, but how are you gonna fit all this on an acre and a half? I mean, that grass lot is not big enough to handle several hundred people who are coming up off the river, plus all
Yeah.
the amusements and everything else.
But the people
Do you
become-
have you laid it out? 'Cause
So, like I said, we're in the beginning stages of it. We can move things around if we need to.
Yeah, we
That's why
can
we're here
limit-
listening to you to give us like recommendations and things of that nature about how many people. I know that we get a lot of people for Friday Night Live. I don't know how many people we'll get for this. I really don't know how many people is gonna come.
Well,
But my
with a
thought,
float-in, you get several hundred.
Yeah.
but my thought is not just having that there. We wanna get the downtown involved too, because we wanna bring people downtown the same day. So the float-in will be from like 10 to 1, depending on the tide, how fast it moves. They'll come down, they'll come out, and most of them, like, you know, I'm hoping that beforehand, Birmingham, I'm trying to get with them and talk to them about maybe doing some activities for that day.
To kind of like spread people
Yes,
out, you know what I
yes.
mean? But that is an accurate question, because it's a lot in one area, so we're hoping, if we have to, it might be limited to, one food truck or 2 food trucks, and like just a, limited space, like first come, first serve, however many vendors that we think we can fit once we map it out. Because that is a concern for sure.
And we were thinking about the vendors, like craft vendors, to be like around, up against the fencing area, and then they can do right there in front of the parking lot here, in that little grassy area before it goes down the hill. Then you have an area in the back, the vendors can go back there as well, just have some signs up. But we want to, like what you mentioned about how many people, we want to have the downtown involved with this too. So you're gonna have Martha's Ice Cream, you're gonna have the new restaurant there next to C&C Country Kitchen. They might be open at that time, maybe, so that would be an opportunity for them to have people come in and get the foot traffic and things of that
But
nature.
we'll map it out.
But we'll map it out to make it feasible, to spread people out, not to have everybody in one place at one time. Because we've always done the Fall Harvest Festival. We've done the Fall Harvest Festival at in the church parking lot. And then we had vendors up and down the street.
Which we thought about doing it there, but I feel like for kid purposes, that we don't really want kids like running around on asphalt, so, but yeah, we'll definitely map it out. That's a good question.
Anything else?
Any other questions?
Well, I'm kind of thinking, how do we utilize the riverfront more there? We've got plenty of space down there right now, and I don't know if
Yes.
Perlmutter would be willing to allow you to use that space for
Yes.
vendors and things like that down there, and have this space over here for your evening event.
Right.
So, I don't, that's just a thought that I'm thinking here. I think,
Yes.
how do we utilize the riverfront?
Yeah.
Right.
A lot better, and we have that open
Yeah.
space down there. And also, we have the Oyster House Park.
Yeah.
Yes.
Down
And see,
there.
I'm on the 250th committee as well, along with all the other committees I'm involved with. But I'm on the 250th committee, so we're all coming together with ideas, the library, the senior center, the historical society. So we're all coming up with our ideas, and I would love to not just invite Seaford Tomorrow to participate so they can make funds, profit off of that for their organization, but when I go to my next meeting, which is next week, I want to bring this to them and say, okay, so this is what we're planning on doing. We would love to get you guys involved as well to make it a whole, and then we can do, like you're saying,
Yeah.
like, we can do something
Spread it out.
on the Riverwalk. We can do the gallery, like maybe down there doing like paintings and, maybe painting for kids, or, have vendors along that stretch
Yeah, the
there too.
vendors.
Just one more question. I mean, as we look at the float-in, and I've heard some cost figures in the past of doing the float-in, and there's extra costs as far as getting people to, I don't know if you're getting people to volunteer, or if you're gonna have to pay
Yes.
people. I know as far as the city, I mean, we're gonna have to provide extra police force and things like that. So has that been thought about and planned out?
Well, we are going to be taking most of the expenses. What we were asking for was a little bit of help with the band and the stage. See what you guys could actually help us with the cost to make a lease on us. Because we're going to have a lot of, just like the Fall Harvest Festival, we're going to have with this festival, I know there's a lot of logistics. I talked to Katie about it, about doing the float in. You have to have 8 volunteers. You gotta have like 4 people there, people like paying to come in. They get the little band on their wrist. Then you have people helping out, helping them do the blowing up their floats. Then you have 2 people in the water getting them in. Then you will actually have 2 people when they come out on the canoe exit. You have to have 2 people there. So that I know we have 8. I do know that we have to get a bus that's going to be able to transport them down. So I'll be working on that too. Once I get everything is approved, then that's why I'm moving forward, getting all the other logistics taken care of. And we would need to get up with Sussex Tire, I think it is, and then a rental facility to help out with blowing up all those inflatables, because I know that's a lot.
Yeah.
So we do know, we are very much aware of like all the costs are going to become occurring for this event, but when the committee, the 250th committee, we all went around and everybody gave their ideas, and they all kind of looked at me and said, DSA, we want you to do something. And originally we had planned on doing a separate parade and doing the festival. But we just thought it was more feasible because we were already taking care of all the police in the city and the barricades and everything is already being taken care of for the Christmas parade. So we thought it was, after talking with Trish and Charles, it only makes it more simpler to do it at the Christmas parade, to do a celebration.
Yeah, but we'll try to get as many volunteers, of course, to lower our costs, and we'll be paying for, a lot of stuff as well, but hopefully with selling like t-shirts and, we have a lot of fundraisers coming up,
You
we'll
got-
be okay.
Got a list of possible donators?
Sponsors,
Yeah, we are doing
and things
sponsorships,
like that?
yeah,
Okay.
we're already starting on that as well.
We got some sponsors coming in.
Okay.
So hopefully it's going to be a good year for sponsors. And then, I want to make sure that everybody that I send out the information to, the brochure and the letter, the sponsorship letter, I want to get with them and tell them also, hey, including the Christmas parade, the Halloween parade, and the costume contest at the Fire Hall and the Fall Harvest Festival, we are now bringing another thing to the town for the 250th. So whatever you guys could do to help us out, to, help us with the expenses.
Any more questions?
Well, it's not a question, but it's 3 months. Riverfest is usually planned how far in advance?
A year?
A year?
We're good.
Yeah, yeah.
I get things that, I've already got contact a lot of people already. Everything is feasible to take care of. We just need to get the approval so that we can get, because everybody books up quickly, your food trucks book up, your ice cream trucks book up, your vendors, your craft vendors, they book up. So if we can get this started, we can get them too. And then also, making sure that we can get the bus driver and we can do all the logistics that we need to make the 250th celebration work and be successful. I'm quick on getting things done.
Yeah.
They will tell you. So I don't see a problem with that.
I know we're being ambitious, but we just need approval, and then we can get the ball rolling on it, and
Are you going to be doing anything for the 250th, like anything historical, anything to celebrate?
Well, in the midst of having the band, we are going to have, I would like to have an hour in between to have maybe the city council come. We can actually see if I get Bryant Richardson to come or Danny Short to come and do something that is going to be based on giving a speech of the 250th celebration, what America's about. And, bringing the city in place to get up there as our guests to talk a little bit. I want to talk to Jim Bowden and find out if I can, see if I can get somebody here to talk a little bit more about history.
yeah.
And we want to do some things with the kids. So there's a lot of ideas that we have going on to celebrate the 250th.
Yeah, it's just, we thought about having a little play,
Yeah.
having some kids put on a little play or something. I don't know. It's, again, very ambitious because it's not that much time and more costs that go into outfits and costumes and all that, but it has been talked about.
Any more questions or comments from council?
I just have one question. This is for City Manager Anderson. As we're working on our FY '27 already, this will be in FY '27. $4,500, I don't think we've allocated anything for that as far as this, so do you see where we can move funds around?
Yeah, we have not. I will say Superintendent Hickey has submitted a draft budget. It does have $10,000 in it for festivals. We had anticipated in discussing with the mayor the potential of appointing a committee for 27. So potentially that money could come from there, that allocation. It just reduces what we'll have for that 27 event. So we do have time. We're just in budget markup, so we do have time to increase that should council desire to do that.
Well, and it's the one time a year, it's not gonna be another 250, so
Yeah,
that's why we
true.
wanna try and do something special and bring it to Seaford, you know, and see people come down here. We wanna get people to come down here economically, you know, for economic value, and so that's, it's just not just about the DSA and the businesses downtown. We're, as you know, I do a lot for the city, and I love Seaford, so I'm always trying to do good for Seaford.
I'm generally in favor of a summer event. And the city traditionally spent much more than $4,500 on Riverfest. But I would propose that if it gets approved, that we have you come back in a month with more detailed plans.
We absolutely can do that.
Because it's a great concept. It's kind of nebulous. So I'd like to see it fleshed out some more.
Thank you.
I'll tie into that. I think the more details, the better a month from now, not only for us, but also for the public. It's an opportunity for them to know what to anticipate and to expect. So I think the unintended consequences are the public will know more about it and where to go for certain things, and might be good.
And we'll get with Seaford PD and things like that, like if we grow it a little bit down with the other committees, to have that and come downtown and do things down there, then we'll have to get with with them to find out, like, how many people we need on duty or things like that nature.
I mean,
Yes, sir.
time is definitely important for you right now, and the only thing that you're coming to us and asking us for now is the use of a lot and the $4,500. So, and what we're in turn is asking you to come back to us in a month and just give us a number. So I don't know, we're really sticking our neck out a lot to go ahead and move forward. Let them move pretty, you gotta move pretty fast to get things going. If we table it tonight, that puts you back another 2 or 3 weeks.
Right. And we've been
It's
holding
done.
back because of getting the approval first, so.
And I just from a whatever, but just maybe one thought to maybe save you some time and some energy is like, not all the vendors selling a bunch of stuff as much as a celebration, you know, that there's some food available, but like, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be every other booth is somebody trying to hawk you something, you know, kind of thing. It's a celebration. And that may save you a lot of headache of having to figure out the vendor piece and all of that. I mean, I know the vendor charge would give you some money, but that would just be one recommendation.
Yeah, no, for
Yes.
sure.
Just a quick
I like that,
point of order, I
honestly.
guess.
It's more of like a celebration when you just have some, you know,
Music, food,
and food,
floating
and
in.
there's activities, the kids are
Yep.
happy, the parents are happy, and there's a float in, and it's relaxing.
We're gonna have
So-
pluck a duck there for the kids,
Yeah.
bouncy house.
All right, so that sounds good.
I mean,
We'll
have
talk
you-
it over.
Have you thought about a boat parade?
We had mentioned it, yes, we did, we talked
Oh,
about
we
it in
talked
one of our
about it at the
meetings.
last-
I think that's kind of.
Yeah, so I think it
coming
was,
thing,
the yacht
so.
club, I guess, that did that, in the past. I don't know what direction they went, how far they went, like, where was the spectators? Well, that was before, I think, the residents was there, the apartments.
We still could do it.
I don't remember that.
Definitely something we can talk to
Yeah.
the other officers about for sure. I
Because
like
I'd
that.
definitely like to grow it, to like, you know, make it bigger than it already is. But we need other people to help, other organizations, just like Riverfest, it takes a teams, takes more than just one team to make it happen. So if we can get them on board, which they're all excited about doing stuff, so for the 250th. I think they would be more than happy to come down and help out with different things. And we can now go forward and ask them about the boat parade too. So they kind of make it an all-day thing, but it won't be like a river fest, but it will be like, okay, we're having the float in from 10
Celebration.
to 1. Then we can maybe see if we have a boat parade, you know, have people decorate their boats, you know, and then like so we get some people that maybe might be interested in being on the riverfront doing something.
That would draw people down to there.
Absolutely.
For
That's
sure.
what it's all
Parades are
about.
prettier in the evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
true. They're lit up, so.
It
but
really
then you're gonna have
is.
the band playing.
Just like with Burr River, when they did their Christmas, the boats out there, that's really cool.
Wacomico River Yacht Club
Yes.
does a great job.
Yes, absolutely.
I like
Great
that.
ideas.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Any other ideas, please email me.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear them.
Just a point of order, I wanted to inquire about the motion, or potential motion. Given that we're talking about potentially allocating funds from the FY '27 budget, would that need to be stipulated in the motion?
Yeah, I would like you to give us I would like council to consider giving some authority. The other thing is, this is a very tight time frame. They may need funds in advance of our FY '27 budget for deposits for the band. So we may need to work that out with them as well. We would have to find funds for that.
That's common.
So, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but have all of the 25, 26 funds been expended for events? Is that?
Ms. Hickey's here. I do not want to put her on the spot, but we didn't have a large budget for events. So I ventured that it has been.
Is that zero,
but-
or is it?
Yeah. We'll look at it and we'll see, and then maybe when they come back in a month, if they could tell us when those deposits have to be made and what those amounts are, then we can try to right time that with available funds in this budget year. That's a good point.
I'm sensing another question's coming. Okay. All right. Are there any additional questions or comments from council? If there are no questions or comments, at this time, I'll accept the motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the request of Alice Atkins, President of the Downtown Seaford Association, to approve a community event to mark the 250th anniversary of the United States of America to be held in the downtown Seaford as presented, and the amount of $4,500, which may or may not be split between the two fiscal years. And Ms. Atkins will appear before us in next month's meeting to present more concrete plans.
We have a motion from Vice Mayor Dan Henderson. Is there a second?
Councilman Cohen, I will second that.
We have a second from Councilman Alan Quillen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passed unanimously. See you in a month. Thank you very much.
Thank
you,
you.
guys.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Did we-
time.
Did we
We're gonna
need to
make it
indicate
great.
permission to use this lot?
Oh, yes. You got to maybe do a motion for that as well?
Do we
No,
need
I-
to?
It's as presented,
Yeah,
so.
it's-
Okay.
The other,
Okay.
that's an administrative thing that you'll do for your special event permit. You'll do the outlines, and it'll be presented to,
Yes.
and there'll have to be,
Just like we always do with the other.
don't
Festivals.
forget
events that we
waste, you know, porta johns,
Yes.
other things
Trash,
like that.
yeah.
Please don't forget that.
have. Yes.
Vital.
And I'll be going through Katie.
Yeah.
as
She'll help us.
always.
She always helps us.
She's my
And-
little mentor.
The special events permit is a pretty good blueprint because it has things listed in it that's very good. So if you follow that, you probably won't have any loose ends.
Okay.
Before we move on, I do want to thank you for taking on the initiative. It's something that we want to see, and I say we, people in the community have spoken to me about it personally, about, hey, you need to do something for 250th, so I'm glad to see you guys, we've got behind us.
I've asked for 9 months.
That's right. So, you know, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of hard work, but I think it's going to be something that, when done correctly, the community's going to really appreciate. So thank you very much.
No, we appreciate you. Thank you for your support you give us every year as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to new business. Number 2, I believe we have our Police Chief, Marshall Kraft. Evening, Chief.
Keep this short as I can.
That's what you always say, Chief.
Okay. All right, first I'd like to thank my Deputy Chief, Tyler Justice. He put this PowerPoint slide together, and as you'll see, it's a little bit better than the ones I probably have done in the past, so thank him up front. This is a very high-level presentation for a 5-year strategic plan. This is, to my knowledge, the very first formal 5-year strategic plan that's been presented to council for the police department. And first, I'd like to say good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager. Tonight, I'll be presenting this plan. It's a 2026 through 2030 strategic plan. It's a 5-year roadmap that's going to outline how we're going to respond to the increasing demands and the modernization of our operations and our strengthening of our community trust. We've been working on that, but this provides a high-level roadmap for not just our police department and our staff, but for mayor and council and the city manager to also have accountability over our department and for succession long-term down the road. And this plan is both operational and forward-looking, and it balances the immediate needs with our long-term growth. So you can see on this chart, the plan's designed to accomplish 4 key things. First, it aligns our operations with the expectations of a growing and evolving community. Second, it provides the structure for managing increased demand from crime to traffic to non-emergency services. Third, it allows us to strategically prioritize resources, including staffing, technology, and infrastructure. And finally, it establishes clear performance metrics, which are key performance indicators that we'll be able to analyze quarterly, annually, and we'll be able to be flexible as a living document, and we can readjust as needed. And so we'll be able to measure those outcomes and then report that transparently through an annual report to the mayor and council and to the community as well. Good Lord.
You said you were going to go fast,
That was
Chief.
going
but
that was fast, pretty quick, Chief. That was
This is
good.
getting ridiculous.
We need to invest in a clicker. Good night. I clicked it one time. Must have fat fingers. Community approach. Here we go. There we go. So our strategic plan is rooted in the community and stakeholder input. As mayor and council, police community, police accountability board, surveys, things of that nature that we did, public meetings, direct interviews with residents, staff, significant portion of every one of our members of our police department, civilian and sworn, were all interviewed, all participated in a SWOT, which is the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and also gap analysis that we looked at to see where there might be gaps in our plan. And from that, this ensures that our plan reflects real-world concerns and not just assumptions. Clicked it quickly. Our mission emphasizes fair, compassionate, and impartial policing while respecting constitutional rights. Our vision goes a step further. It defines our public safety, not just the absence of crime, but trust and relationships and community well-being. So things like quality of life, and also, you do have to have that trust and relationship with your community. We put a lot of work over the years, at least I know in the last 7 years, and you can see that continuing to a higher level. It also measures our engagement through the transparency and legitimacy. The philosophy drives every goal in this plan as we developed it. We've been working on this plan for quite some time now. Now keep in mind, this is a high level. I have a 20-some page document excluding the attachments that I'll be sending to the city manager here and vice mayor as well later this week. We're operating in a significantly changed environment. I think everybody's aware of that, especially compared to 10 years ago. Seaford's population's grown about 33% since 2010. Continued upward trends, calls for service have increased, especially after 2016, and we're seeing renewed growth in recent years. At the same time, police are now expected to handle a broader range of responsibilities, from mental health to community outreach, all are very necessary components of our job. You know, all of this is happening in a competitive environment for staffing and funding, and this plan is designed to address those pressures in a very structured way. Got it.
No. Spoke too soon.
You gonna? Okay, so you got it, Kylie. I'm not used to having help. I'm used to. There we go. So these priorities reflect both operational needs and community expectations. Officer wellness and staffing are critical. I think everyone's heard a lot about that over the years. It's in every department. It's mandated through accreditation standards. And we currently have staffing gaps, but we hope to close those gaps. We have 3 additional officers that are going to be graduating in June. They'll go on 3 months of field training. But at that point, if they all make it through, we don't lose anybody, we should be at full staffing later this year by early, mid-fall. And that's going to help us with our increasing workload and those demands. Technology modernizations includes things like body-worn cameras, or automated license plate readers, or real-time crime tools that we're using, or relatively new drone team that we're using. All those things are force multipliers for us. And we're looking forward to really getting those implemented fully this year into the new fiscal year. Community trust and engagement remains a central pillar. It's one of the 21st century, goals or pillars that we have been striving for since day one. This includes the transparency, outreach, and accessibility. Accreditation ensures that we maintain a high professional standards. As you're aware, we achieved state accreditation in 2020. We were reaccredited 3 years later, and then last November we became Tier 1 level national accredited, and now we are in the advanced stage to go towards advanced CALIA. That's a risk management. It's necessary. It protects the officers, it protects the city, and it protects the community. And finally, long-term facility planning, because we are at capacity. We've actually grown past capacity for our police department. It was built in the late 70s, even though there was an addition. We've done a great job. I think the city's done a great job helping us keep it remodeled and upfitted and updated to the best that we can. But we do need to start that plan, and this plan here, as you'll see later, will incorporate some of that modernization that we're planning for. The first 3 goals of the strategic plan are going to focus on external service delivery. Goal 1 is the violent crime and gang activity, with a targeted reduction of gang and violent crime of 15% by 2028. We're hoping to do better, but it's always to keep realistic goals. We have a lot of strategies that goes along with this that we're not showing here, but within our full operational plan. Goal 2 focuses on traffic safety, including reduction of crashes and injury-related accidents by 15% by 2028 as well. And Goal 3 expands our role in non-law enforcement services, things like education, outreach, prevention. So our goal is to start to do community engagement and presentations and training, and to try to find a location that we can actually host those. That's part of the modernization down the road too, for a new facility, so that we can actually have a space to have people come in and do those trainings on a regular basis. And so the goal reflects a balance really between enforcement and community service. The final 2 goals focus on sustainability and collaboration. Goal 4 strengthens the organization internally, which is extremely important. It covers staffing, training, technology, leadership development, as well as a significant portion including succession planning, which is really important for future leadership, future roles within the department. Goal 5 focuses on partnerships, working collaboratively with other agencies, nonprofits, and community. Public safety is not just something that we can do alone. I think we've said it before many times. It's a coordinated effort. It takes a partnership. It takes community working alongside of law enforcement. And I think Seaford's doing a good job. I think we can continuously strive to do better. And that's what I'm hoping that this plan will help us do. For violent crime, we're strengthening our department enforcement efforts through what's called a proactive criminal enforcement unit we started within the last year. It's called PACE Team. We're expanding our intelligence capabilities, improving our interagency coordination with partners like the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office through what's called the Guns of Lower Delaware Gold Plan. We meet regularly. It rotates between Seaford, Milford, and Laurel. We just met at Seaford just recently. And that targets individuals. And yes, I did say that. We target violent offenders through the Department of Justice, Probation and Parole, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and others that work with us. And we're hoping that that will help one piece of reduction of violent crime. We've also recently have a member of our criminal investigative unit that's became a part-time task force member with the FBI Violent Crime Task Force. That's extremely important. We're also implementing tools like real-time crime dashboards. You'll be seeing that come out before the end of the fiscal year where community members can go out and look at hotspots or heat maps to show different types of crime. That's part of transparency. That also helps community working alongside of us law enforcement through full transparency. I'll maybe do a presentation on that as we launch that. And that's integrated with surveillance to support the data-driven policing. And on the traffic side, we're focusing on hotspot enforcement through those same dashboards through CrimeView, working with DelDOT, and we will also be expanding those educational campaigns for our Facebook social media pages. So look for that. I think we've done a great job. Our deputy chief has really increased our followership by more than double since last February. We're up 23,000 followers now. That's pretty significant for a department and for, I think, a community our size. But what that does, it helps get that message out to the community and helps get that shared to thousands more people, hopefully, to improve public safety. We're also pursuing electronic speed monitoring systems. As you're aware, we presented that. The ordinance was approved, and that'll be in place soon. We're walking that, slow walking that because of some legislative changes with that policy that's coming up in June. As part of a long-term traffic safety strategy, because that's equally as important as crime reduction because of traffic safety, pedestrians, and fatalities. Fatalities are up, by the way, 20% year-to-date compared to last year, down from 40% last month. So it's a trend that's going up, not necessarily down. We're expanding our youth programs, increasing outreach, and strengthening our community engagement team. All of these strategies are tied to those same KPIs. So, key performance indicators that we'll be able to measure. City council, city mayor, be able to measure that to see how we're working. And by the way, an annual report includes attainment of goals. So you'll see for those KPIs and an annual report, and I'll be able to share quarterly reviews with the city manager and the vice mayor or police liaison as well. And that'll help us with this roadmap because, like I said, this is a living document that we'll be able to adjust. Internally, we're working towards increasing staffing to 36. I don't think that's any secret. I think that's the magic number. We're at 34 authorized, budgeted right now. Within this 5-year plan, you'll see us working towards that goal. Not right now. There's nothing in for the new fiscal year. But that is part of this plan. There's a whole lot more responsibilities and requirements and mandates federally and statewide and post-certification requirements now that requires that staffing to be able to do the things that we have to do. With that said, working towards that increased staffing, it helps match our service demands much better so that we can continue to reduce the crime, do more community engagement, and also improve officer health and wellness. Because the calls for service, we're the highest call for service in the county per officer. We handle a significant amount of calls. We're on implementing our structured leadership development, including programs like the FBI LEADA, but not solely just LEADA programs. We have other supervisory schools that we send our officers to, and specialized training, which is extremely important in today's environment. Officer wellness is focused, including peer support, mental health resources. We've recently have acquired the Cortico app. It's a law enforcement wellness platform that provides officers, first responders with confidential mental health and stress management and wellness resources. It's all in one app. We're in the process of getting that live, but that's paid for by the state of Delaware for 2 years, so it's at no cost to the city, huge benefit to the department members. And it's in addition to the city's EAP plan, so Employee Assistance Program. Also, we're investing in training, including scenario-based technology-driven training, Externally, we're increasing transparency through public dashboards and annual reporting. We actually do have a 2025 year-end review. We've already presented it to a police accountability board. That's going to be something we're going to present to the community probably in May. And I'll work with the city manager and vice mayor so we can come up with a date and a time and a location that maybe we can get mayor and council if they're available to attend as well. And in addition, we're also strengthening our partnerships for those task force in collaboration with nonprofit agencies. As you're aware, I was here with Out Loud Delaware and Seaford Sussex County Community Health Coalition, and we had the council-approved funding for the Nutter Park Prevention Hub. That's a huge, I think, investment. It's a great investment in our youth and our community in East Seaford, which will be expanded throughout the whole city. That's going to be part of this plan because that does increase community engagement. It helps reduce crime, helps set us up for success with building those better relationships with the community member to have better partners and hopefully put the kids in a better place to say no to drugs and violence. Each phase builds on the previous one. Did I skip one? Yep. So this plan is phased to ensure manageable. I apologize. I think I read part of it, but this plan's phased to ensure manageable implementation. 2026, we've actually already started on this plan. You'll see technology and equipment. That was funding for this fiscal year that the mayor and council and the city manager approved. That was a significant investment. You'll see on the next slide, but that's new body-worn cameras, in-car cameras, and things of that nature, new tasers. That was a technology upgrade and staffing improvements. 2027 addresses fleet replacement and infrastructure needs. 28 is a key evaluation year. As we said, that's where we're looking for that solid 15% reduction in violent crime, gang activity, crashes, and personal injury accidents. 29, you're going to see a significant focus on long-term planning, including feasibility design for a new facility. And 2030 is a full strategic review so we can assess the overall outcome. You'll always have a 5-year strategic plan moving forward. Every year, this will be reassessed. Now, some of the things that you'll see in here are going to be every year for here till the end. We're always going to be trying to reduce violent crime, always going to be trying to, have succession plan and improvement in training, and always try to improve our traffic enforcement. For the 5-year capital investment, this outlines the 5-year investment strategy. The largest investments, like I said, are in technology and modernization. It was almost a $500,000 investment over 5 years. And we're already really year 2 into that, so I think we're about to make our second payment into that. But that's over 5 years, that amount you see in 2026, not just 1 year. This outlines that investment in technology, including cameras, tasers, evidence systems. We've planned investments in fleet replacements. Cars are a significant investment every year. As the personnel grows, you need more cars. As time goes on, cars have to be replaced. Costs are going up on everything, including upfitting of those cars. A significant component is long-term facility planning. And we've been discussing this for several years in the planning session. But this does start with land acquisition and, in the design phases. And importantly, these costs are phased as they're being aligned with the operational needs and budget cycles. So it's not all done all at one time. And you'll see how the dollar amounts were spread out. So accountability is built into the structure of this plan. We'll conduct, like I said, the quarterly KPIs and review and track progress, annual performance evaluations. What'll happen is this will get implemented as soon as council approves this. We'll implement this with the supervisors and above. Come January, when it's time for new annual evaluations, each officer within the department, depending upon their rank and their title, their position, will have specific goals, objectives, and strategies of how to meet those. And then that'll be put in there for next year's evaluation. And then in 2028, 2028 is really a big year, they'll actually be evaluated on the attainment of their specific goals based on this plan. And then that's how we're going to find out if we're being successful and who's meeting these objectives. And so it's also tied to the budget. So I'll say this right up front, that this is really going in line with a calendar year more so than a fiscal year, which does kind of make it a little difficult, so there's some flexibility within this plan, because we don't know if the funds will be approved or if they'll be there year to year. So we'll plan, and then we'll just have to adjust this plan semi-annually if necessary. And once again, we'll use these benchmarks against peer agencies to identify gaps and other best practices. And we'll provide regular updates to council and the public through dashboards and annual reporting. That's something you'll start to see here real soon. And this ensures, once again, transparency and continuous improvement. And finally, this plan represents our commitment to the community. It's focused on creating a safer city, strengthening partnerships, and modernizing our policing. It's also designed to be flexible so we can adapt to conditions as they change. We look forward to continue work with the City Council and our community to successfully implement this plan. And if you have any questions, that was a lot, but that was a very high level compared to what we actually have done.
I'll ask a question. That's very impressive.
It's been a lot of work from a lot of people.
I got to commend, you said Deputy Chief Justice put this together?
He put the PowerPoint together from our strat plan. He's
very impressive.
fancy like that. He did a great job.
The question I have is there any other police departments throughout the state doing something like
So
this?
there's very, very few that do a formal 5-year strategic plan. University of Delaware, if you go to the website for University of Delaware, we work with the same outside vendor that they did. They did that 15 years ago. And you'll see what that actually is going to look like moving forward if you really want a good idea. You can see the strat plan that they have and then the annual attainment report. And you'll see that some of those goals stay the same every single year, even though they meet them. They just continue them because some of them just don't go away. And then others, come and go, ebb and tide with the budgets and the things that you want to accomplish. But for the main part, there's really 5 main objectives here that we discussed. They highlight all the main core pieces that every city or town should be focusing on for the police department. Not just police departments, I think it's good for any department. But there is a lot of moving pieces with it. We have another training piece after July 1 that we're bringing the vendor back so that we'll have the format and the knowledge and skills, I guess, to actually do the annual attainment reporting and the updating of this document as every year. And then that's it. We'll be able to keep this going moving forward. The key piece here, too, within here is really the succession planning, because a lot of agencies lack that.
Well, the dashboard, that's going to be
Yeah.
a big key for me because I've worked with dashboards over the years.
Yes.
In the business I was in. You said it's only going to be annually. Is it something that can be done quarterly or
Well, we're going to
biannually?
review quarterly,
Okay.
but for like a full report annually. So quarterly, I'll be sending that to the city manager and the vice mayor, and we can certainly, share it with council.
Okay.
And anytime you want us to do a presentation, we certainly can. But formally to the public annually is how we'll actually post that on the website, share it on social media, and we'll incorporate some of that with our annual year-end review, because we'll be doing that every year moving forward as well. Now, that covers use of force, that covers your internal affairs, it covers, the attainment of these goals and objectives. It covers a whole host of things in this year-end review that we'll be doing, so.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Bradley, you got one?
No, I'm good.
Vice Mayor.
The document that you're going to submit to the city manager, does it have any financial numbers in it?
Yes, sir.
Or any commitments that that are going to require us, if we approve this motion tonight, are we going to be bound to those numbers?
What I can tell you is that's a document. I have discussed these with the city manager numerous times. It includes one thing that's already been approved, which was almost $500,000, and that was for the in-car body worns and all of that. The other thing that it includes is the cars, which I kept it about the same as it's been yearly, every year for the vehicles. That could rise or fall a little bit depending upon the budget, but I think 295 to 320 has been the range that we've been in annually, and that's the range that it's in currently for the cars that we have to buy and replace. The other things in there is land acquisition and the cost to do the different pieces of the engineering and design and things of that nature later on in the budget. I said that, once again, this is a living document. It's based on the budget annually. This is a forecast. So when you say, are you locked in? I'm going to say, no, you're not locked in because things change and we'll have to update that. And we can certainly update it. If there's something you don't like in that, I can send this out to you tomorrow. I don't have a
No,
problem. I can send it to the mayor and council and city manager.
I want to be
Look at it.
clear that
Yeah,
it's essential to have a five-year strategic plan. It's,
yeah,
it involves cost,
yeah.
but it involves even greater cost if you don't do it. So,
Yeah.
I just want to be assured that the motion is very short, that we're not saddling future councils with financial commitments that will end up burdening our citizens and businesses. The other thing is that I will stress, and I would like to thank you
Yep.
for all this is ambitious, and it comes at cost.
Yeah.
However, your aggressiveness at getting grants to reduce the impact to taxpayers is, certainly, it's the best kept secret in town, really, because, you bring a lot of money that, you return a lot of taxpayers' dollars from the state and federal to help reduce the impact to our residents. So thank you.
I appreciate it. I would make one recommendation, if it would put the council at ease a little bit. This is reviewed annually, and like I said, it all depends on the budget. So I think it would be wise and prudent, like the councilman said, to approve it for year one, because year one, we're already there in year one. Pretty much most of those things have already been approved for 2026, in fiscal year 2026, if you wanted to restrict it. With a contingent that if the funds aren't there for vehicles, that it's reduced or amended to some degree. But I don't think you have to approve all 5 years of the funding, I guess is what I'm saying, because that's reviewed every quarter and every year. And we'll have a better idea once the budget's done for this year. So I agree with you 100%. We're forecasting based on the best that we can.
And this is really no different than any director's five-year capital improvement plan that they've been required to submit for over a decade. This is much more detailed. Obviously, expenses are one aspect of this plan, but yeah, again, the chief's correct. It would still be, expenditures would still be handled through the budgetary process.
Any additional questions or comments from council? If there are none at this time, I'll accept the motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the five-year strategic plan for the Seaford Police Department with an annual review as presented.
We have a motion from Vice Mayor Dan Henderson. Is there a second?
Councilman Bradley, I second the motion.
We have a second from Councilman Bradley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It passes unanimously. And Chief, you're back for new business number 3.
I am. This time I'm not trying to spend money. I'm trying to ask for your permission to receive money. So we're going to offset that. Every year I come before mayor and council. Seaford, Milford, Laurel, and Georgetown this year are part of what's called a disparate grant for the federal government. Funds have now been released. City of Seaford is entitled to be awarded $19,812. The total between the 4 agencies is $70,223. Our portion is $19,812. The funds, should the council agree to approve the receipt of those for us to pursue, it's one of or more of the allowable items, which is equipment or technology, personnel or overtime, training or professional development. That's where we stick. Typically, we go with equipment. These are very, as the Director of Finance will tell you, these are very involved grants. They're time consuming. We typically try to stick with equipment needs because we can typically do one and done and close the grant on our side. And that's what we will be seeking. Things of the, like taser, additional tasers, even though we have tasers as part of our strategic plan, part of that funding, that wasn't for everybody in the department. That was just for patrol. We still have CID and things of that nature. We tried to keep the cost down, figuring we were going to get more grant money, trying to save the city money, and those things are very expensive. You're probably talking, we could spend that $20,000 and still maybe have a little more need. So tasers is what I'm looking at, although that could change depending upon, if something pops up this week. I want to have it submitted by the end of the week, and then I can certainly update the city manager. But equipment is what we'll focus on.
Okay. Any questions for Chief Kraft on new business number 3? If there are none, at this time, I'll set the motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, or the BJAG, for the fiscal year 2025 grant funding submission as presented. Is that correct? Fiscal year
It is.
2025?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They're a year behind.
Okay. We have a motion from Vice Mayor Dan Henderson. Is there a second?
Councilwoman Grassett, I second the motion.
We have a second from Councilwoman Grassett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much. And luckily, we didn't have a PowerPoint for this one. So, thank you.
On to new business number 4, and June Merritt.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. I'm here to present the collective bargaining agreement with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 126. As you all know, we had been in negotiations with our electric department that is unionized, and we had a couple of different negotiation sessions, and we have reached a tentative agreement. The electric department has ratified it, so we're presenting it to you for your approval. Just a couple of the changes that were involved in this agreement. There was Article Section 3, which is regarding union stewards. We added a line that states the city will make available time off work without pay for union stewards to attend contract negotiations. That was already practiced, but they wanted the language just to clarify that that's what that was. Article 13, under safety and health, there was a change in the glove and sleeve replacement and testing from monthly and bi-monthly to per OSHA requirements. That's an approximate savings of maybe $2,000 annually. There was, in the last contract, they wanted us to do them monthly and bi-monthly, but what we were finding out was that was causing the gloves and sleeves to fail more often because of the testing. And so OSHA only requires it every 6 months. The next piece is still under that same article, but under 4A for uniforms. Really, it was just adding some language in there that was that the items, the clothing, uniforms, t-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, those types of things, they would be in new or like new condition and of proper size when distributed to the employee. Same thing with the next section, 4B, under additional equipment regarding hard hats, work gloves, safety glasses. It just, again, added the language that they would be newly issued, or replacement items would be in new or like new condition. The next article is Article 21, meal allowance. As we all know, due to rising cost and things, we increased the maximum amount of reimbursement from $15 to $20. And then the next article is the wages and progression, Article 23. So the pay plan for fiscal years 2027 would be increased by 12%. The next year, 2028, would be a 3% increase, and then in 2029, also 3%. And then under Section 2, under that area, wages and progression, a line was added under the progression plan language to include, and let me give a little bit of background, but it includes language that, notwithstanding the provisions of the collective bargaining agreement, but if we could not identify training, an alternative training provider by July 1, 2027, that we would agree to come back and enter into an MOU, a memorandum of understanding. And what was happening is with the training that we do through the DMEC training yard, we have TVPPA, the Tennessee Valley Public Power Authority. They're doing our trainings for our electric linemen. And sometimes there's not enough people in order to have a class. And so there was concern that people might miss a training and that it would delay them from being able to progress through the different levels. And so we're working on that. I think we've come up with an alternative plan, maybe to send them to another location instead of DMEC, but it would still be the Tennessee Valley Public Power Authority, some of their training. So it would all be the same type of training, but it would just be at a different location. And then the next section that we did add, this was the city asked in the progression plan, most every, above groundman, every position had language in there that they had to have a minimum of so many months as a City of Seaford employee. But due to possibly, retirements or people leaving, we felt that hindered the city from being able to hire maybe a qualified person. So we did add the wording or equivalent experience to that educational requirement. And with that, everything else stayed the same. So, does anybody have any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Merritt? Okay, if there are none at this time, I'll accept the motion.
Councilman Bradley, I would like to present for approval a collective bargaining agreement with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, BEW, Local 126.
We have a motion from Councilman Mike Bradley. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I second that motion.
We have a second from Councilman Orlando Hahn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Before moving on to new business number 5, I just want to thank you and your team for doing this. Can take a lot of time and effort, and it can be very tedious and detailed. So appreciate you, Charles, and your team, and doing what you guys did. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do want to give a lot of credit to Annette Montgomery,
Annette
our
Montgomery, yep.
HR manager. She did help do the majority of the research
Yep.
and pulling all the data together. So she did the heavy lift for us, but I appreciate it.
So what are you going to do with all that extra time now?
Oh, boy.
Well,
She's in another one right now.
we're in the middle of budget, middle
No, I meant
of
the extra
negotiations
year.
with police.
The extra year, so.
That'll be helpful.
So we'll get there.
Thank you, June. All right, on to new business number 5.
Okay, so we did receive recently a request for annexation, and it is from ARKA Assets Limited. They happen to be located in Harrington, Delaware. They are requesting annexation of a parcel of land. The tax map and parcel number is 53110, parcel 234.01. They are requesting that be annexed into the city of Seaford, and it be zoned R2, which is our medium-density residential district. Their reasons for requesting annexation are to receive city utilities and city policing. That is the location, so it's just north of Governor's Grant. I'll just make the statement that Governor's Grant development there just to the south is also zoned R2, medium-density residential district. There is another attachment exhibit in your packet, and that is the annexation plan. It does show this site in the town center district, in our residential district, or in our residential area. So it was planned in our comprehensive plan that we would grow this direction once the property owner decided to request annexation. So the charter requires that the mayor appoint an annexation committee, and they would be charged with investigating the possibility of annexing this property, and they would come back to council after they deliberate and review the property with a recommendation for annexation. And Unless there's any other questions, Mayor, it's up to you.
Yeah, I did reach out to members of council to see who might be interested in participating, and luckily we got 3 chosen. Councilwoman Grassett's been gracious enough to chair the committee, and Vice Mayor Dan Henderson and Councilman Alan Quillen are also going to join and be part of that committee, or they agree to serve pending council's approval, put that way. Are there any questions or comments regarding those potential nominations? Okay. As far as recommended motion,
You have one, so you have the appointment there of the 3 members suggested. So if someone could.
do I have to make that motion?
No, you've made the
All right,
you've made the recommendation.
Yeah.
If someone from council would make the motion
Okay.
to approve that, that
All
would
right.
be helpful.
I appreciate that. You can save me from myself here. If somebody wouldn't be gracious enough to make a motion.
Councilman Holland, I make the motion for Mayor Matt McCoy. We need to appoint 3 members of council, with 1 serving as committee chair.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Orlando Holland. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
I have a second from Councilman Mike Bradley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously. On to new business number 6.
Okay, so it's that time of year when we take bids for cleanup week. We did open the bids on April 8th, excuse me, and we did receive 3, Casella Waste, Republic Services, and AJT Homes LLC. The low bidder being Casella Waste at $206 a pull, which would make the total estimated base bid about $27,100. The director is recommending award to the low bidder, Casella Waste. And just to give it to council, last year's, excuse me, last year's price per pull was $198 per pull. So didn't go up that much, slightly up, which was good news. And I am encouraged to see, we are encouraged to see that we had 3 bidders. So I will try to answer any questions council might have.
I have one. I'm not familiar with Casella Waste. Do we know?
Yeah, I believe they're our current vendor for trash.
Okay.
They were, yeah, they're our current vendor. They rebranded themselves probably 5 or 6 years ago.
That's
so-
what, okay, I was trying to figure out the name. and not-
Their name prior is escaping me. I apologize for
Okay.
that. But,
All right,
yep, we're familiar with them. We've used them several times in the past. They've done a good job for us.
10-4, all right. Any additional questions or comments from council? All right, if there are none at this time, we will accept the motion.
Councilman Holland, I make a motion to award bids for cleanup week to low bidder, Casella Waste, in the amount of $27,100 as presented.
We have a motion from Councilman Orlando Holland. Is there a second?
Councilman Quillen, I'll second.
We have a second from Councilman Alan Quillen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It passes unanimously. On to new business number 7. And Mr. Bailey is here.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
City Council, City Manager. So this is our annual demolition of structures bids. It's just one structure, one property this year. It's a house and several outbuildings. And we did receive several bids, which was more than we have in the past. So the low bid came in from Clark's General Contractors in the amount of $27,281. Reviewed their bid package. Everything seems to be in line. He even already has his required bond in the package, so he's ahead of the game on that front. So that's my recommendation, is to award the bid to Clark's General Contractors.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from council? If there are none at this time, I'll accept the motion.
Councilwoman Grassett, I make a motion to award the bids for demolition of structures to the low bidder, Clark's General Contracting, in the amount of $27,281 as presented.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Grassett. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I second that motion.
And a second from Councilman Holland. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. On to new business number 8. Okay, I guess this is me as well. A few weeks months back, we discussed at a council level about the potential of bringing back a festival to the city of Seaford around spring, summertime. The artist formerly known as Riverfest. So put together a group of people, just people in the community, served in various boards, things of that nature. Asked our city leadership to review that list. A couple of them they gave me some good insight on, so those names have been provided in your packet currently. Just one quick point of emphasis. It may say Riverfest Committee. That is not a definitive name. It's just a placeholder so we knew what we were talking about. I think one of the primary emphasis for the committee will be to invest time in developing a new name of the festival if they want to proceed in that direction. But that'll be up to the committee. The name's been provided in your packet. If you guys have any questions, at this time, I'm willing to answer. Okay, if there are no questions at this time, I'll set the motion.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Holland, I make the motion to approve the list of names to be appointed to serve as Riverfest Committee members as presented.
We have a motion from Councilman Orlando Holland. Is there a second?
Councilman Quillen, I'll second.
A second from Councilman Alan Quillen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, and that passes unanimously. On to old business number 1. And Mike is back.
This is the second reading to revisions of Chapter 9, Article 1 of the code that would update the City Plumbing Code to, right as currently, the 2021 edition of the International Plumbing Code. That's the state code that's adopted currently. So when they update, ours will automatically follow suit, so as it's written.
10-4. Any questions or comments from Mike regarding old business number 1? Okay, if there are none, I'll set the motion.
Councilwoman Grassett, I make a motion to approve the revisions to Chapter 9, Article 1 of the Municipal Code that would update the City Plumbing Code to the 2021 edition of the International Plumbing Code with amendments as presented.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Grassett. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I'll second that motion.
We have a motion from Councilman Holland. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that passes unanimously. And now on to old business number 2.
Okay, so this is the second reading of a revision to Chapter 4, Article 1, that would adopt the most current edition of the International Energy Conservation Code as adopted by the state of Delaware, which is currently the 2018, which we're already using.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments regarding old business number 2? If there are none at this time, I'll set the motion.
Councilman Bradley, I make a motion to approve the revisions to Chapter 4, Article 1 of the Municipal Code that would adopt the current edition of the International Energy Conservation Code as adopted by the state of Delaware as presented.
We have a motion from Councilman Mike Bradley. Is there a second?
Councilwoman Grassett, I second.
We have a second from Councilwoman Grassett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, it passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, sir. On to the reminder of meeting.
We only have one. The municipal election is this Saturday, April 18th, 2026, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. Two council member seats are up. They're 3-year terms. Vice Mayor Dan Henderson has filed for re-election. Councilman Mike Bradley has filed for re-election. And Roberto Santos has filed for council. That is all I have, sir.
Thank you, City Manager. At this time, we're going to move on to our liaison reports. We're going to begin with Code, Parks and Recreation, and Councilwoman Stephanie Grassett.
As far as the Code Department, 72 permits have been issued so far for 2026. They are continuing rental inspections as well as routine inspections and violation inspections throughout the city. We're going to be starting each meeting giving a little helpful code fact for everyone. And this month's helpful code fact is that unregulated vegetation growth enforcement season is in effect from April 1st to October 31st. All vegetation on properties needs to be maintained to a height of 10 inches or less. So Make sure you cut your grass. The annual cleanup week is May 11th through May 15th. Please do not place items out on the curb until 1 week prior to the cleanup week, or you may receive a violation notice. Also, as far as large project statuses, Ryan Homes has a permit for a new model home in Muirfield. Bel Air is still waiting for the dedication inspection. The final inspection was completed and a certificate of occupancy sent to the Western Sussex Business Campus. Things are moving along at Nylon Capital. They've been working on stormwater. Modwash, the outdoor vacuums are being installed, and they are looking at opening sometime in April. Governor's Grant has 2 homes under construction in Phase 4. Aldi has had their permits issued. Site work has started. Cookout plans are being finalized, and the Seaford Inn is moving along with their renovations. As far as parks and recreation are concerned, for parks, she did have the fountains serviced and turned on at Gateway Park and Kiwanis Park. They have been removing the pickets from the Jay's Nest Playground and organizing them in alphabetical order so that they can be distributed to those who would like their pickets. They have worked with Nanticoke Little League to rototill the fields and added 24 tons of new infield mix between the 2 softball fields. They've decorated Gateway Park for autism awareness, and fortunately, they had to come inside for the ceremony, but it was still well attended and was a great event, honoring Autism Awareness Month in the month of April. They've also been clearing more of the overgrowth and brush between Oyster House Park and the new property that the city purchased on South Conwell Street, and that's some of the clearing that they've been doing there on that property. The picture that you saw before, I believe, was an Easter egg hunt. We did have the community Easter egg hunt, and it was a little chilly but successful hunt for the eggs. Soccer schedules have been completed. The first set of games began the week of April 6th. All has gone well so far. The slow pitch schedule for men has been completed. The Easter egg hunt, as I said, had happened. The Lighted Up Blue happened, as well as now we're planning for new events, confirming and advertising the 2026 outdoor movie nights, as well as the work with Seaford Tomorrow for the Friday Night Live. A reminder that we are asking for input as far as the Jay's Nest is concerned. You can scan the QR code that is available. You can go to the city website or Facebook page to give your feedback as to what you'd like to see at the new revitalized Jay's Nest. And before I end mine, I would be remiss if I didn't wear another hat. As part of the Starfish Society, I encourage anyone who can, and I invite all council members and the mayor to attend the Miss Seaford pageant, which is this Friday night at 7 o'clock at St. John's. We have 3 young ladies who are vying for Miss Seaford and 7 little girls who are vying for Little Miss Seaford. It is always a fun time, and you'll have a blast just watching them try to become the person who gets to represent their town. So I encourage you all to come, and I encourage anyone out there who would like to attend to attend. And that would end my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. At this time, we'll move over to Police and Fire, and Vice Mayor Dan Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2 complete reports, one from Fire Chief Matt Reed and one from Chief Marshal Kraft. Starting with Fire Department. Under fire statistics, year-to-date, we're at 3.95 calls per day. As of the March calls were 3.35 calls per day. And that's up to yesterday, about noon yesterday. The EMS statistics were on an average of 13.26 calls per day for the year, and the March average is 13.03 calls per day. So that's a total for the total average calls is 17.21 calls per day year to date. Under significant incidents, on April 10th, there was a confined space rescue where unfortunately a person lost their life. There were several agencies which responded. This occurred in the Bridgeville jurisdiction. However, multiple companies assisted as well as the Seaford. The other significant incident happened on April 5th, where there was a house fire on Smack Drive, which is out towards Hastings Farm Road, which is actually an assist, I believe, to Blades. And there are a couple photos there showing that the home was a total loss. However, they were able to get into based on Chief Reed's report yesterday, they were able to, if you see the photo on the left, there is a searchable area which they were able to enter to verify that there was no one inside. In the second photo, you'll see the condition of the structure was a total loss. Under pardon me, under training, you'll see the class time that's there. I have a problem with some of the report is the photo is superimposed some of the report. I'll move on to class time. You'll see the pie chart there with the slivers. You can expand it to see get more details because there's a lot of slivers there showing all the time and the number of hours that are devoted to class time. Under career services, Corin Dietz was hired full-time with the department, bringing the department back to full staff with 17 career employees. She has started her orientation and will be going on shift shortly. Under news and events, as previously mentioned, there was a confined space rescue on Redden Road. 2 subjects were trapped in the grain silo, and Seaford operated on scene with Ladder 87 and several technical rescue members for 10 hours. Now, not sure, but I believe that if you go back up to the pie chart, you'll be able to see some of the dedicated training for technical rescue. Also previously mentioned was the house fire on Smack Road, and that was a total loss. The committee for the new fire engine traveled to Florida for final inspection of the new engine, 87.3. They did that on March 24th. They required some corrections to be made to the vehicle, and they're hoping to have it in the station by the beginning of May. And hopefully we'll be able to, we'll get some communication and actually watch the department roll the equipment into the bay. That's a ceremony that's really, really quite something to see when that 20 or 30 guys pushing a piece of equipment into the bay. And so they do it at night with the lights on. It's really nice. Seaford Fire finished the first quarter of 2026 with 10 building fires and 1 motor vehicle accident with entrapment. The department continues to be the busiest fire department in Sussex County. Under Seaford Police Department, Chief Crass report is here. The usual 5-year look back and the current period in the far left column under 2026. Under all crimes at 249, you'll see the distribution between felony, misdemeanor, violations, and civil and other. For a 87% clearance rate, which is about the same as the previous period, Actually, I think it's a little lower than the previous period, but it's still above 85%, which is the goal. Under additional crime data, there were 28 complaints, 9 felonies, and 19 misdemeanors. Under drug crimes, there were 37 drug crimes, and you'll see the distribution between adult arrest, unfounded, pending active, no prosecution declined during this period. There were 2 search warrants, 2 seized firearms, and 1 overdose that the department encountered during this period. There were 359 traffic contacts with 238 citations and 32 warnings, 3 DUI, 1 crash-related, and 39 crashes, 12 non-reportable, and 27 reportable. There were 7 hit-and-run accidents. I don't think you can really call them accidents if they're hit and run. It's something somebody does on purpose. There were 7, 2 on private property and the rest on public streets, as you'll see there. There's 1 pedestrian accident which occurred on private property in the Lowe's parking lot. And as previously mentioned, there was 1 drug or alcohol related crash. You'll see the crime view statistics showing the highest incidence was on a Friday, and you'll see the time was sort of in the afternoon hours, or early evening, or in the afternoon to late afternoon hours. Under the summary report, I'll let you review those significant events there. And under administration, you can see they held to their normal busy schedule. As was stated earlier, he's attended a Guns of Lower Delaware meeting. There was a meeting about the funding approval for another park prevention hub. There was the statewide Chiefs Legislative Committee meeting, which the chief held, and on the 26th of March, there was a warm handoff bill meeting with Senator Hansen related to reentry housing. The chief also attended the coffee with Representative Short on Wednesday, April 1st. There was a CALEA interview for the Millsboro Police Department by their on-site assessor. And under community events, they stay very busy in the community. There is an upcoming event on the 19th at the Boys and Girls Club Community Health and Wellness Festival from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the food on program is an all program that's participated by the general staff or general officers. And on 3/28, the chief attended the Delmarva Gems prom. And you'll see the training there. We have 3 still in the, we have 3 recruits still in the academy, and graduation will be in June. And I think I'll stop there, Mr. Mayor. That completes it.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm going to move over to administration and Councilman Orlando Holland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A meeting was held with with city engineers regarding conflict at wastewater treatment plant expansion project, and they attended the DEMEC Executive Committee and Board of Directors meeting in Smyrna. They also attended the Historical Society meeting and gave a presentation regarding city projects on the updates. And proper work was done at Middleford Road and Snatcher Substation. They attended various other meetings and events, and all the work was routine. That concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Holland. At this time, I'm going to move over to our electric department and Councilman Mike Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chris Andrews completed Lab 4 apprentice program at Demick. Tyler Waskey was able to skip pre-apprentice training due to skill assessment. There was a pole replaced on West Ivy Drive. They repaired switchgear and replaced 1,000 feet of underground wire that was damaged by a vehicle. Out at Seaford Village, removed and installed an osprey nest on a Middleford Road pole, and I learned something new today. There's a group called Team Osprey. Installed line switches on Circuit 280 for the wastewater treatment project and performed switching procedure to de-energize the line. Installed new secondaries for the new Boys and Girls Club sign. Dug underground conduit in Governor's Grant. Greg Brook repaired underground lighting pole box at Seaford Middle School. And he searched for camera footage to find who the culprit was that damaged the facility where the wiring was, the 1,000 feet had to be replaced. Reviewed plans for KinderCare, met at the Innovation Center for a plan discussions on building E1 and 2. He did a follow-up with Westview residents about outages and tree trimming. And I might mention I had a customer in the store Saturday and found out they lived over in that area and had nothing but praises to say about the electric department, especially how they handled the outage during the blizzard. And they made arrangements with Milford to ship their tools together for the Navajo project. So that concludes my report.
As always, an electrifying report, Councilman, as always.
Very shocking.
Very shocking. At this time, we'll move over to Public Works and Wastewater Treatment Facility and Councilman Alan Quillen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll start with Public Works. DRWA apprenticeship class toured the 534 water facility on April 1st. Multiple curb cleanups and property cleanups for the code department were completed. Multiple root cuts and sewer laterals were completed throughout the city. The Arbutus well pump is down and currently trying to repair it as soon as possible. Water service line repair on Houston Street. Gearbox replacement on 534 soda ash mix tank mixer has been completed. Pump test on a new deep well on 534. New flow meter was replaced on the Arbutus pumping station and performed all weekly routine tasks. Moving over to the wastewater retreatment facility and the compost plant and dewatering are performing well. Completed and submitted annual pre-treatment report. Brian and Ryan attended annual EPA pre-treatment conference from April 8th through the 10th. Troubleshooting issue with the oxic blower on number 4. Hydraulic issue with secondary wastewater number 1, working to replacement with the standard drive on that. And the Headworks project is moving along pretty good. And that completes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Quillen. We still have work to do, so at this time, I need to ask for a motion to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing negotiations.
Councilman Quillen, I'll make that motion.
A motion from Councilman Alan Quillen. Is there a second?
Councilwoman Grassett, I second that motion.
Maybe a second from Councilwoman Grassett. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, we're going to enter into executive session. Thank you very much.
My daughter's from the